This is Break It Down to the T, where we don't just review films, we diagnose them. Every character you've ever watched on screen, they have a condition. And we're here, show you exactly how it plays out in the story. Think of us as the shrinks Hollywood never hired. Welcome to the couch. Okay, so today's patient is Evil Dead Burn. Family therapists have this term called the identified patient. Fancy way of saying every messed up family picks one poor soul to be the designated screw-up. The black sheep. The one who gets the side eye at Thanksgiving. And everybody in that family points at them like, see, that's the problem. That's who needs fixing. Meanwhile, grandma's over there stirring the gravy with a whole personality disorder and nobody said a word. This horror film just took that concept and lit a match under it. Literally. A grieving widow goes to stay with her dead husband's family. And one by one, they start turning into flesh-eating demons. So for the next 15 minutes, we're diagnosing this family. Every single one of them. And trust me, the demons are the least disturbing part. Let's start with Alice, our widow, our supposed protagonist. Girl just lost her husband, and instead of doing the normal thing, like sitting on a couch eating ice cream and ignoring texts, she decides the healthiest move is to go bond with his family. In their secluded, no cell signal, definitely a horror movie house. Babe, that's not grief processing. That's a trauma bond with extra steps. And look, I get it. We've all done the thing where we cling to whatever's left of a person after they die. But most of us don't do it in a house that looks like it was decorated by someone who just discovered the word ominous. Alice isn't looking for closure. She's looking for a family to absorb her grief so she doesn't have to feel it alone. Which, clinically speaking, is called enmeshment. Non-clinically speaking, it's called girl run. But here's the thing about enmeshed families. They don't hand out affection for free. There's always a toll. And this family's toll happens to be, demonic possession. Which honestly might be the most transparent metaphor for in-laws I've ever seen. You marry into the family thinking you're getting a support system. Turns out you signed up for group therapy with no exit and everybody's unresolved trauma is now also trying to eat your face. Now let's talk about the actual turning. Because in this movie, becoming a deadite isn't just some random supernatural whoopsie. It's basically what happens when this family's buried stuff finally hits the surface. One person's overwhelmed and traumatized. Boom, deadite. Fine, movies do that. But then the fun part starts, and it's every uncle, cousin, and creepy grandma turning too, one after another. Like some horrifying game of telephone where the message is, we were always like this, we just hid it better. And can we talk about the sound design for a second? Because Vaniček is out here making floorboards sound like they're screaming for help. Every creak, every drip, every distant thump in another room, it's giving, this house has secrets and none of them are good. You know that feeling when you're at a family gathering and someone brings up something political at dinner and the whole room goes dead silent? That's basically this house's whole vibe. Except instead of awkward silence, you get someone's arm getting torn off in the hallway. And the gore. Oh, the gore. This isn't cute little horror movie blood spatter. This is arterial spray. Camera doesn't cut away. You're gonna need a minute gore. Fingers get chopped like it's a garnish station. Someone gets impaled on a car headrest, which, sir, that's a new one. It's brutal, it's mean, and somehow it's still darkly funny, which is exactly the tightrope this franchise has always known how to walk. So who's the real problem child here? My money's on the mother-in-law. Every horror movie about toxic families has one. The person who acts like the glue holding everyone together but is actually the crack running through the whole foundation. She's polite, she's hosting, she's probably got a casserole in the oven. And she is absolutely the reason everyone in this family learned to swallow their feelings until they turn into, well, literal demons. That's the thing this movie gets so right without ever saying it out loud. Abuse doesn't always look like yelling and slamming doors. Sometimes it looks like Sunday dinners where nobody's allowed to bring up the thing everybody's thinking about. Sometimes it's a smile that says, I will end you if you embarrass this family in front of company. You know the type. Every family's got one relative who could deliver a death threat disguised as a compliment about your outfit. And that's why the possession metaphor hits so hard here. These people didn't need a demon to become monstrous. The demon just gave them permission. It's like when your coworker gets a little tipsy at the holiday party and suddenly you're finding out what they really think of you. The deadite version is just, unfortunately, with way more teeth and way less HR follow-up the next morning. And then there's Alice herself, because let's not let the widow off the hook just because she's the victim here. Watching her try to hold this family together while everyone's turning into demons is giving major Fawn response energy. You know the trauma response where instead of fighting or running, you just appease? Smile through it? Keep the peace at the cost of your own sanity? That's Alice's whole personality for the first half of this movie. Girl is out here trying to be the perfect daughter-in-law while people are literally losing their humanity in front of her. But here's where it gets good, and this is the part I actually respect. The movie doesn't let her stay in that mode. Once things go fully sideways, she stops trying to keep everybody comfortable and starts doing what she probably should have done the second she felt weird energy in that house. She fights back. And there's something almost satisfying about watching a character claw her way out of people-pleasing mode with an actual weapon in her hand. It's not subtle. It's not supposed to be. But as a metaphor for finally setting a boundary with your in-laws, I don't think horror has ever been this on the nose. And honestly, I'm here for it. Let's talk about the house itself for a second. Because in every one of these movies, the location is basically its own character. And this one's no different. Secluded, no signal, family-owned for generations, the whole 9 yards. Which, if we're being honest, is basically the architectural version of a red flag. Anytime a family's like, oh, it's been in the family for years about a creepy, isolated house, run. That's not charm. That's a containment facility for whatever they've been repressing since the Clinton administration. And that isolation matters clinically too. Enmeshed families love isolation because it means nobody outside the system gets to see what's actually going on. No neighbors dropping by, no friends checking in, no witnesses. Alice doesn't just marry into a weird family, she marries into a closed loop. And closed loops, in families and in horror movies, always end the same way. Something's gotta give, and it's never gonna be pretty. Then you've got the Book of the Dead doing its usual thing, because no Evil Dead movie forgets its roots. And here it functions almost like the family secret nobody was supposed to read out loud. Which, again, incredible metaphor generator, this franchise. Every family's got that one page nobody's supposed to turn to. The affair nobody mentions. The addiction everybody quietly manages around. The thing that happened at Christmas 6 years ago that nobody's allowed to bring up. Somebody always ends up flipping to that page eventually, whether it's a literal cursed book or just one too many glasses of wine at dinner. And once that page gets read, there's no unreading it. The family's true nature comes out, and it's ugly, and it's loud, and it's got way more blood than anyone signed up for. Kind of like every Thanksgiving where somebody brings up politics and suddenly Aunt Carol's whole personality changes in front of everyone. Now let's get into the ensemble, because this is where the movie really flexes. You've got Susan, Joseph, the whole extended crew, and every single one of them is basically a different flavor of family dysfunction waiting to be unlocked. That's smart writing, honestly. Instead of just one demon showing up and ruining everyone's night, the movie stretches it out, letting each family member's specific brand of messed up bubble to the surface one at a time. It's basically a highlight reel of every toxic trait you've ever seen at a family function, just with more dismemberment. There's the sibling who clearly got the golden child treatment growing up, and watching him turn feels less like a demon possession and more like every unearned confidence he's ever had finally curdling into something that matches his personality. There's the quiet one who never says much at dinner, and when they turn, it's almost a relief. Like finally, we get to see what's actually going on in there. Every family has that person who's suspiciously calm, and you just know there's something simmering under there. And this movie basically gives you permission to say, I told you so. And Vaniček's smart about pacing this out too. He doesn't just unload everybody's baggage in one big dump. He lets the tension build person by person, which honestly mirrors real family drama better than most actual family dramas do. You know how it goes. One relative snaps at dinner, and suddenly everyone's old resentments start leaking out one by one like a slow gas leak nobody noticed until the whole kitchen's on fire. This movie just skips the metaphor and gives you the actual fire. Let's talk humor for a second, because this is where a lot of horror movies trip over their own feet. But Byrne actually nails it. The comedy here isn't some separate lane bolted onto the horror. It's baked directly into the dysfunction. Like, the funniest moments in this movie are the ones where the family's still trying to maintain normal manners while absolute chaos is happening 2 feet away. Someone's arm is detached and somebody's still like, well, that's rude. That's not just gore for laughs. That's a genuinely accurate portrait of families who'd rather die. And I gotta give it up for the way the film uses silence, too. There's this whole stretch where the tension isn't coming from jump scares. It's coming from the quiet. The uncomfortable, everybody's avoiding eye contact quiet. If you've ever sat at a dinner table where you could feel an argument brewing under the surface but nobody's saying it, That's the exact energy this movie captures right before things go completely off the rails. It's dread through etiquette, which honestly might be scarier than any jump scare could be. Technically speaking, the camera work deserves a shout out too. There's a tracking shot through the house at one point that just refuses to cut away, forcing you to sit in the chaos the same way Alice has to. No breaks, no relief, just straight through it. Which thematically tracks. Trauma doesn't let you look away either. It just keeps the camera rolling whether you're ready or not. So by the time this movie's done unraveling every last family member, you're not just watching a horror movie anymore. You're basically watching group therapy with a body count, and somehow it still manages to be funny about it, which is the real magic trick here. Let's talk about the third act for a second, because this is where the movie either sticks the landing or faceplants, and Byrne actually manages to do something kind of clever with it. By the time we get to the finale, this isn't just kill the demons and go home energy. It's Alice finally confronting the actual root of the family's rot, not just the supernatural symptom of it. Which, clinically, is the difference between treating a panic attack and actually digging into why you're having 12 of them a week. This movie chooses to dig. And listen, I know some of the early reactions called it a little long, a little incoherent in stretches, and yeah, I felt that too in a couple spots. There's a section in the middle where it feels like the movie's circling the same emotional beat instead of moving forward, kind of like when you're in therapy and you keep coming back to the same unresolved thing session after session because you're just not ready to actually deal with it yet. Except here, it's less, let's unpack that next week, and more, here's another hallway kill scene to buy us time. But honestly, even with the pacing hiccups, the emotional through line never fully lets go. Every big kill in this final stretch feels tied to something specific about that character's dysfunction, which is more than I can say for like 90% of horror sequels that just want body count for body count's sake. This one's earning its kills. Bloody, messy, occasionally overstuffed therapy sessions, sure, but earned. By the time the credits are about to roll, you don't just feel like you watched a slasher flick. You feel like you sat through an entire family's unresolved group therapy arc, compressed into one very long, very bloody dinner party. And somehow, weirdly, you're kind of rooting for the demons to just let these people finally say what they mean for once. So, what's the official diagnosis here? This family didn't need a Book of the Dead to become monsters. They were already halfway there. The book just filled out the paperwork. Evil Dead Rise takes the classic Evil Dead formula and actually uses it to say something. Buried under all that gore is a pretty sharp point about what happens when a family spends generations swallowing its own dysfunction instead of just, talking about it like adults. Turns out, repression doesn't just disappear. It just waits for the right cursed book to come along. Is it perfect? No. Runs a little long, gets a little repetitive in the middle, sure. But as far as horror sequels go, this one actually earns its screen time, instead of just coasting on nostalgia and jump scares. So here's my final session note on this family. Diagnosis: generational avoidance disorder, with a side of demonic manifestation. Prognosis: not great. But hey, at least they're finally communicating. That's our session for today. If you liked watching this family get diagnosed one deadite at a time, hit subscribe, because we've got a lot more couches to fill, and a lot more characters who desperately need therapy. Until next time, stay off the wrong side of the woods, and maybe skip the family reunion this year.